friends, we're back. We're Black and Curious. I'm Kendrin.
What up, what up? It is Dehjai. How y'all doing?
Hello. And if you've never been here before, welcome. We do a cross section of pop culture and real life. And today we have a pop culture mashup
Yes,
for
we
you
do.
girls.
Girl, it's been a whole lot going down in the streets, okay? So I don't know where y'all have been, but I know last week sometime there was a video circulated on socials of Jim Jones tossing a man down the damn escalator at the airport. And
There
I was
was.
like, for a minute, there was no information as to like what the hell was going on. Okay. And I'm like, okay, since when do we fight in the airport with all the traveling that you have to do as a celebrity, like a rapper? Like you traveling all over the place to perform and carrying on by plane. Like what in what world do we think that it's like copacetic to just be tossing niggas around? Like,
Not
huh?
great.
So the
I feel like they
backstory.
said something stupid because they were two older white men.
Yeah, the backstory basically is just white people whiting, okay? And
Mm-hmm.
they are getting off the flight to, the flight lands, everybody getting up to get their junk to get off the flight. And apparently, Jim Jones was a little too hasty for their liking. And so they had something to say about it. It started on the flight and then it carried on as he left. And, like he tried to leave the situation. They carried
Mm-hmm.
on while he was going on his way to the baggage claim, and then that's the part that we see where they're on the escalator trying to get down to the baggage claim, and he started tossing people, which
Because hush.
I'm with you when you're
Because
right. Well,
hush.
the thing is, they put their hands on him. So basically, they ended up, the airport did not file any charges or anything like that against him.
No, they
Basically,
do not.
that cited in his defense, basically, he was defending himself. And so, like,
Mm-hmm.
because of that, like, ain't nothing that could be said. But he also did not file charges against these two idiots. And it's like, no, they need to have their fight privileges provoked, because if they tried that shit with you, who's to say they haven't tried it with other people of color?
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they have.
Because
But either
what?
way.
Who does that? Anyhow, in
Mm-hmm.
exciting news and congratulatory news, Jerrie Johnson of Harlem fame, Harlem on Prime Video, Amazon
Yep.
Prime Video,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
she is now engaged to her new fiance. So I'll pop up some photos of their engagement. They look very, very beautiful and happy and in love. So congratulations
Lovely.
to the two.
Congratulations to them. Yes.
Whew. Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. What you got on that, Ken?
All right. What do I have? That is a hot mess. I'm glad it's over. It appears to be over. My favorite part of the entire battle, I have an unpopular opinion. My favorite part of the entire battle, and I feel what killed the entire battle was actually Metroboomin releasing this beat for people to do whatever they please upon it. And people danced upon it. They played guitar upon it. They remixed it into one of my favorite things on the internet, which is the merengue version
Yes,
of
me too.
BB and Nick. BB and Nick.
Child, listen, if I can find the clip, I will pop that in here. You have had to have heard it by now. It's all over TikTok. Girl, I was like, not out here with our Spanish cousins, okay? With our Spanish brethren. All right now.
Legitimately the funniest thing. Like I was literally that thing had me just by the neck. Like
I mean, I'm telling you, and to the point, like before I had even heard that, I was all over the weekend. I was just randomly singing BBL Drizzy, BBL Drizzy. Like it's
listen,
so catchy. Kendrick, you
it's
did
so
that.
catchy.
So
So
catchy.
you did have a interesting take from TikTok, or you posted an interesting take from TikTok of this attorney, like, well, why you ain't fighting back legally, Drake? And on the one hand, I kind of understood where he was coming from, but on the other hand, it's like they have already called him a crybaby. They've already called him like all these different things. So if he starts taking hip hop beef to the court of law, his credibility is really going to be shot.
But even still, the attorney, I forgot, I think he's based out of somewhere in New York, but he was also saying like the stuff that Kendrick is alleging at Drake like is highly like arrestable offenses.
No, of course,
Like,
because it was part of it was like, things with minors.
yeah.
So
I'm like,
Yeah.
but I mean, with the way things have been panning out over the last couple of months as it relates to the Diddy debacle of it all, I would not be surprised if in 6 months to a year from now, there's a whole new investigation happening. If it isn't already. Because
Yeah.
again, the girls say over on TikTok, I forgot her name, but she's always like, typically when the feds come knocking, they already have evidence to be knocking.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. The feds don't knock if they don't know. When they come, they know what they're looking for. They have a case and they've been watching you. 100%. That's a given.
Okay. So let me go on back to the
And
thing
I
that I
also
skipped.
did hear another take that I heard another take about this that I appreciated.
Yeah.
Over at I think it says, yeah, It's Been a Minute on NPR. I love her. And they really broke down the fact that of all of the carnage in this beef, it's the women who catch the brunt of the issues. It's Kendrick's wife. It's the women in Drake's sphere. It's his, you know what I mean? So, hip hop never misses an opportunity to be misogynistic.
A lot of old heads is fighting. Shannon and Shaq have had some words for one another. So I pulled this excerpt from People Online, and it says the recent online scuffle between Shannon Sharpe and NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal continues to keep sports fans intrigued. And Sharpe just addressed the situation at the Webby Awards red carpet on Monday, the 13th. Earlier this month, Sharpe and O'Neal's disagreement over the 2024 NBA MVP choice led to a war of words that included an unexpected diss track from O'Neal on May 10th. I didn't even know that. Speaking on the red carpet for this year's Webby Awards to celebrate, excuse me, the best online content. Let me click on this because I didn't pull up the whole thing. On the 13th, basically, the long and the short, let me just run it down. Basically, Shaquille had something to say about who all was winning and how it happened. And because he said something, Sharpe came back and had all this criticism about how you're supposed to, like when you out there and it's your time, then you're supposed to put in every last bit of blood, sweat, and tears. And if you didn't do that when it was your time, then why would you sit back and like have so much to say about it now, right? And so because he said that on his show, speaking to whomever, I don't even know if it was on the actual podcast or if it was his after show. But either way, he had all this stuff to say. And so that sparked a back and forth between the two. Now, this track, I did not know that he was still making music in the year of our Lord, 2024. Like, who knew that? An unexpected diss track. You ain't never lied, because I didn't even hear about that.
No, thank you.
No, I don't think I want to hear about it. Basically, Sharpe said to people, I mean, I don't have no problem with Shaq, the pro football. Well, he said what he said, and I'm ready to move on. So, okay. The old heads is bickering.
Cool.
I'm like, y'all
I have no interest in that.
I'll link the story where you can get all of the back and forth because it's from People Online and they tell you what all was said, but I just didn't clip all of that.
Yeah.
So
moving on. Yeah. Rosie O'Donnell's on Just Like That.
Child, I'm not surprised because they fired Che Diaz character. The girl from Grey's Anatomy. I don't even remember her name. Well, excuse me, their name, because I don't know their pronouns. I don't know how they identify.
Wait, that was Callie?
Yes. No. That's Callie Torres.
I did not know that. And I was a Callie stan, honey. Wow, I did not know that. Okay.
So the Che Diaz character got cut at the end of last season, and then it seemed like a domino effect. Like they cut all of the characters like actual work in terms of what the show, like she was supposed to have this whole TV show and all this kind of stuff, and then whatever happened on the series itself. So she lost that job, then she broke up with Miranda, they lost that job, then they broke up with Miranda, and then like I was waiting to see like what the next story was going to be because they went on to start dating somebody else. So I thought it was going to be interesting.
I wasn't curious at all.
I'm also disappointed. I didn't put this in the outline, but I'm disappointed that the Black character, the law professor that was Miranda's friend, she also is no longer on the show. I
I'm
don't know if
okay
you
with
heard
that
that.
too.
But
I'm
her
okay with
story
that.
was just getting good. She was about to be messing with Gary Dourdan, girl. No, okay. She's not feeling it, friends.
It just felt like it was a lot of nothing going on over on Miranda's side of the street. So maybe we need to refresh Miranda's story or something, because it seemed like she was coming into a new era at the
Yeah.
end there too. So, and
Yeah.
finding herself and kind of collecting herself up. So I
So
didn't
I'm
think that Nia, or what is her name? Something. I think it was Nia or something like that.
Naya
I didn't think she
something, the law
Naya.
professor. Yeah.
I didn't think Naya brought a whole lot to the table. Um
I mean, I feel like they didn't give her a lot. They gave her more last season than the previous season.
yeah, totally
So
agree.
we'll see, child, how this here season is going to play out. I'm assuming that Rosie O'Donnell is coming in to be the next like lesbian partner to Miranda, or non-binary, however they choose to spin the story. I just, it was coming out of the gate when they started this season, they were trying to do all of the like check all the boxes. And so they reeled it back in the second season, and then they reeled it back all the way to the point they just start cutting people off the show. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
I no, I think they did right, honestly, because a lot of these people didn't really have a whole hell of a lot going on. It was just extra stories to try to follow. We love Seema. We want Seema. We love what is her name?
What is her name? Lord, the other Black woman on the show
Yes,
that's married to
what's
Boris
the
Kojo. I don't remember her name. I
yes,
don't even remember the character's name,
Nicole
but she's
Ari
also
Parker.
freaking
There we go.
good.
Um, but we love her. We love her fashions. We love, and her storyline makes sense with Charlotte and the whole thing. My gripe with Miranda was Miranda's storyline never, it kind of pissed me off. I didn't really like her storyline from the jump. So it seemed to me like they were kind of a little bit all over the place and trying to figure out what to do with Miranda.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I didn't care for her storyline. Not just her, not the part about her necessarily exploring her sexuality, but like her being the dumb white woman and like kind of the I just it just didn't add up for me. It didn't
It
add up to
wasn't the
me.
Miranda that we knew, which I guess can speak
No.
to this idea that Miranda identified herself through her law degree and her prestigious work, and then all of that started to unravel in the original show as she became a mom and a wife and trying to still live this corporate life. Because I think
But
that
to
was
me, like, I guess for me, like, even in the Sex and the City 2 movie, and for those who don't know, okay,
stands.
down. D- down, okay? I was like at grown women's watch parties in high school, okay? Down. Down to my socks. So I know what I speak. Um, Even in the second movie, I only watched the second movie one time because I felt like they did such a disservice to Miranda and to Charlotte. And I felt
Mm-hmm.
like when they brought them back, they didn't really have much more to say. The way they were able to transition Charlotte was to show her going back into her career and her making friends with Lily's. But at that point, Brady was too old. So
Mm-hmm.
like they just didn't know, it didn't feel like they knew what to do with Miranda. And
Mm-hmm.
as a girl who thought she was Carrie and actually is Miranda, not on every level, but like as I watched the show back, I'm like, actually, I'm Miranda. Um, as that girl, I just felt very slighted by how they've treated Miranda throughout this entire like after the show ended, the original run of it. Anyways,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
my gripe.
I don't disagree. Are y'all
Um,
going to be watching? How about that? Are you watching And Just Like That? What are your thoughts? Drop them down in the comments.
yeah. Oh, for all the people who like have a really big problem with it being called and just like that instead of Sex in the City, it's like, isn't that how Carrie used to end her column? It
Was
was
it?
like in just like that. Or it was like it was an exit line in something. I don't know if it was every column, but it was like at the end of the movie, I feel like, and she was like, and just like that. Da, 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 da. And that's
Yeah, I
why
think
the
you're right.
transition. Anyways.
But I think
Um
it's just a long name.
Longer than Sex in the City.
I mean, it just feels longer. Okay, let's just move on.
Moving on. I'm got the next point. Mary J. Blige has finally done what the people asked. She had a boot. They were beautiful boots, by the way. A gold, delicious thigh high. I think it was thigh high boot with Giuseppe Zanotti. Perfect. It was
I have not
perfect,
seen them.
but
and clearly they have sold out, honey.
like,
$1,300 boots sold out quick.
well, somebody was kind of like her energy when she announced it was like, here, shit. Like, y'all been asking, here, take them.
Okay, get off my back.
But some people had a little bit of a do about the price point, and I didn't think the price point was that bad, honestly, for a celebrity collaboration. I think it was I think it was closer to 1,500. I think it was between 13 and 15 in the US. In the UK, I think it was 1,250. But I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, a thigh high boot is going to cost you anyways from a designer. That's easily $1,000, if not more. So I didn't feel like there was that much, and they sold out. So, girl, the girls who it was for was on it, okay, because they sold out. Okay. So, moving on. I'm not a thigh high boot girly, but I'm a Mary J. Blige stan. So, you know, I would have done it if it was a thigh high, if it was something that I was into, but I wasn't. So, yeah.
I hope that she releases. Though. I hope that she releases more like shoes. Like, I don't know that her wine venture will do as well as this shoe thing that she's doing.
I kind of hope she doesn't. I kind of hope that this is a one and done. If you got it, you got it. You didn't, you didn't. We've been asking for her to do a boot. She did the boot. Here, damn, leave me alone. And it's
real
beautiful.
talk.
Honestly, the boot is beautiful. It's beautiful.
I need to look. I need to Google it. I haven't seen it.
But it's an all over gold boot, and it's slouchy. It's like scrunchy. It's beautiful.
It sounds like a Mary J. boot, to be honest. But I feel like she should have monopolized on this boot thing when she did the Misa Hilton MCM collection, where she wore that head to toe at the Essence Fest a few years back. That probably would have been a perfect time, because that she had the slouchy thigh high boot then, and it was all MCM'd out. And I'm sure them boots flew off the shelves, and they probably weren't as high at the price point as the Zanottis.
Probably about the same. Honestly, $1,500 is not that high for a pair of thigh high boots or even knee high boots. Like, it's really not that much money for a designer at that scale.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I think sometimes, and I think we talked about this a little bit before, a couple episodes ago, sometimes people just love what they love, and everything don't have to be a business. And Mary is probably like, girl, I just like boots, and I don't want to have a boot business. Like, that's going to take the joy out of me having fun buying boots. I don't want a boot business. Like, I just want to have boots. Like,
I mean, touche.
So maybe she doesn't want to. Like, maybe she is fine with having a wine business, and she is wanting to monopolize off of that and wanting to like sell different things, other things. I mean, is a boot common sense? A boot is common sense, but at the end of the day, maybe it's just not what she wants to do. Like,
I mean, and you're
she
right.
did not seem excited about releasing this boot. It was very much like,
all right, child.
Here.
Finally.
And don't ask for nothing else.
That part, like Rihanna in the albums.
You got all I got. That's it. Ain't no more. And that's fine.
I'm like, I don't think Rihanna will release another album anytime in this lifetime. Sis has retired.
I can't even talk about it. Let's talk these three stories combined really quick. So La Roche is doing a whole press tour. Shout out to Richo Amandi. We talked about her a couple weeks ago. Her interview with La Roche on the cutting room floor was excellent. It was excellent. So he's doing rounds, and at the end of the interview, Richo was kind of like, we want you, like, I want love for you. And he was kind of like, I don't know if I'm meant for it. And I feel like I saw him in another interview where he was kind of like, I think I'm just meant to be creative. Like, maybe I'm meant to be adored, but not like in a romantic sense. And we've heard Whoopi Goldberg on her like press tour kind of giving the same energy, kind of, because she was like, look, I've been married 3 times, and
I'm good,
Don't
child.
love it. Don't love it. Don't like to share. Don't want nobody in my house. I like spending time with my kid and my grandkids, and that's about it. Like, I'm really not interested anymore. And even with Shawnee O'Neal saying in her press tour for her book, like, she was never really in love with Shaq. And I think like we have to have a or normalize a conversation for people who like aren't prioritizing romantic love in the same way, or who have opted out for some whatever the reason is, or have reframed it in some various form.
I feel like to a lot of degrees, it's now coming out more verbally, especially from women and Black women at
Yeah.
that they have gotten into these relationships, whether famous or just run of the mill, like our aunties have gotten into these relationships out of convenience, out of necessity, out of, like it's transactional. I need this,
Yeah.
so therefore I'm gonna do this thing. Matter of fact, I had
Friendship.
my elder neighbor who is in her 80s basically tell me her life story as to how she ended up in the state of Virginia. She's from deep in Georgia, the country of Georgia, and she married a man because her mother said that she should, and because he
Yeah.
really was doting on her and in love with her, and she had a child already, and he was like, I'll take her and you. And off they went with the military man, and was with him up until he
Happens all the
passed a few
time.
years ago. And I was
Happens
just
all the
like,
time.
women was really doing that.
Yeah. And so I saw an interesting thread on Twitter actually where people were talking about the difference between like somebody kind of tweeted that, relationships are just concessions, like one concession at a time, one small concession at a time, until you just are kind of like not the same version of yourself as when you showed up into the relationship. And, someone else kind of countered and was like, well, then you just have to find a relationship that works for you where everybody gets to kind of be themselves. And I think that's super, super important. And that goes back to another article that you shared about relationship ambivalence, and it being either like, it's got to either be a hell yes or just a no. Like, not, there's like that whole in between of like, maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Ain't nobody trying to do that no more.
Where's she out? Where's she out?
Not
So
only that, but life is so goddamn hard these days. And not to say that it wasn't at the time that the women that we've made mention of were married and in relationships, and or like our elders, like the elder that I spoke about earlier. Like, it was probably hella hard back then. So I can't
but even
imagine.
not even just elders, and honestly, like peers as well. So it's just
Yeah.
like, I think I'm glad to hear people saying this more vocally and with their chest, like, maybe I don't like that, or maybe I'm maybe that's not for me. And just being like, that's okay. Maybe I'm interested in other things and that's not a priority.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. Y'all get down in the comments and let us know, like, what are your thoughts on relationships? Do you still see it as transactional if you're married or single or whatever in between? Just give us your thoughts. Would love to hear from you.
Love to hear from it. All right. In the meantime, like, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you in our next conversation.
Bye, friends.
Bye.